Hello YouTube, this is Okie Diecast. I've got another video for all the fans of Autoworld and specifically fans of the Autoworld 4 GT. It's been a while since I made a video. It's not that I haven't been buying any diecast or haven't had anything that I could film. It's just that I've been real busy. But something happened over the weekend, a couple weekends ago, that I felt warranted a little bit of documentation by way of video. I've been collecting these Autoworld 4 GTs for quite a long time, although it hasn't been since they first initially did this casting. It was probably around the time that they did these dirties. These three dirties down here that I started collecting. So the entire back row that you see, I had to collect retroactively off of the secondary market. Wasn't able to get them off of hobby dealers. Most of them come off eBay. I may have found out some of them on different various hobby retailers or websites, secondhand, yada yada yada. But anyway, over the years I accumulated pretty much all of the ultra reds, all the regulars for sure, one raw that's in the middle, but there was one that was really difficult to find, and it was the ultra raw for this black one right here. And I'll go into that in a little bit more detail here. But if you don't know anything about Autoworld, they do these regulars and then they do chases with them, the ultra raw chases and the ultra red chases. And the ultra red chases that they put out represent about 3% of the total run. And so some of these can get quite rare. Compared to Hot Wheels and some of the other die-casts. Everybody goes crazy about super treasure hunts, but they're made in mass, basically. About the rarest Hot Wheels that you can come up with nowadays is if you get into like the now defunct NFTs, or maybe some convention models that have limited edition runs that are somewhat serialized. But anyway, I was going to go through these and then tell you the little story at the end. We'll see if I can't zoom in here and we can start going through them. They've been doing these since about 2017, and they started with these back here, the number 72 red and blue. There's the ultra red right there, back in 2017. Then the number 7 car and the number 27 white car. They both had the same ultra red, so I didn't have two of those. Those were around 1,256, I think. So that yields a 3% run yields about 50, maybe a little over 50. But since the A and the B release both had the same ultra red, this ultra red has it's more like 6%, 6% of the run. For you loose collectors that take them off the cards, like me, the car is exactly the same from A and B. So in this particular case, where the hobby run was somewhat limited at 1256, you get a doubling up of the ultra red. Now with the ones that came after that, which is this black one and this guy, the unlicensed Golf, they were at a count of like 1248, and so 3% comes to 39, and they both had their individual ultra reds. This one had an ultra red and this one had a different ultra red, so you don't have that doubling up. And so what you end up is an ultra red that is limited to like 39 pieces, 38 or 39 pieces in circulation. So that release represents the rarest of these Autoworld cars that have been released, is the black one and this Golf one without the livery, just the colors. And that's really the way they go. All these back here are all limited release. The next ones, I think they were somewhere, I can't remember the exact number. These were 1800, and they just kept going. And these two, they both have the same Ultra Red, the number 12 car. And then you have the dirties over here. You have the road version of the Ford GT. I was able to pick up the raw on that one, which is right here, which those are limited to 10 pieces per run, A and B both. They only put 10 of those out. Don't ask me how I came by that one, but I don't consider the Ultra Raws are so limited that I don't even count those in a collection. I mean, it's nice if you'd have them, but I wasn't chasing them like I was the Ultra Reds. And then we have the Lamely exclusive, and that'll bring me to my story about the one I was missing. These were some other hobby exclusives that came out. Then they came out with a dirty number 6. And the last one that's been released is a retail release. And they both shared the same Ultra Red, which is that guy. Well, so I was missing the black car. I've been chasing this thing since 2017. I had pretty much given up on it because there's only 38, 39 maybe of them in existence and circulation, and who knows where they ended up. Well, searching for years and years, wasn't able to find it. I'd given up on it, but I knew this guy that does has a big web presence had one. He was a collector named Lamely. I mean, if you've been following Diecast online, if you do any research or video watching, you've heard of him. You probably watch his videos. Well, I knew that he had a Ford GT40 collection, and he's going through a little bit of a purge where he's selling off a lot of these cars that he's had in his collection and he's done videos on. So he did a Whatnot Autoworld show, and he actually had up his loose collection of Autoworlds. And so looky there, I was able to pick it up finally. This was really about the only one I knew where it was at. I hadn't seen any more of them online. I didn't know anybody that had any. He was the only guy I had, and that I knew had one. And he put it up on Whatnot last Saturday, and I was able to pick it up. So that completes my collection. It was kind of funny because I put in a pre-bid on this Ultra Red, and he had it in a listing that included a bunch of Ultra Reds and a bunch of loose cars. And gosh, I did a Lamely and I dropped it. But I put a pre-bid on there, and in the auction he said, well, somebody thought it was a whole case of cars because nobody would have bid $120 on a single Ultra Raw. And I chuckled to myself because I was thinking, yeah, well, I knew it was probably one car, and I put the bid in anyway. I just really wanted to make sure I got this car. I don't know if I'd ever run into it again or not. But anyway, the auction transpired, and I was able to get it at a reasonable price. Funny story, it was probably the most reasonable price that I've given for any of these Ultra Reds, and it was the last one and the rarest one in existence, and I probably gave the least amount of money. I think I've paid more for all of these Ultra Reds individually than I did this one. Crazy story. So I can put it down here with the black one, and then I have a complete collection, minus the Ultra Raws. And some of these I have carded, some of them I don't. I had the thought after his auction that I should have just bought the 72. He had all these. He had the 72, the 7, and he had the 12. All those cars that have, it was the same chase used for both the A and B release. I told myself afterwards, man, I should have just bought all 5 of them. and just doubled up on those Ultra Red, because then it gives me an even car count all the way through my collection. But as it sits, some of them I only have 3 of that release because I didn't get the A or the B Ultra Red. But anyway, pretty exciting to finally complete a collection, and it's fun that another collector that has a pretty big web presence is able to, or willing to, part with his pieces and share with other collectors. If you haven't been on Whatnot, you ought to do it. It's pretty fun, and you can get some really good deals. And I'm happy with this collection. I'm happy that I finally got it complete, and I'm not just missing one car. Maybe one day I'll put these on turntables and I'll talk about them individually. I have some old videos on my channel that you can go back and look at them, where I go through each one of these cars kind of individually and give the details about them. But hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I might be posting more videos lately as I have time, but hit the like, hit subscribe. I'm a big Ford GT and Ford GT40 collector. This is my thing. This is why this collection exists here all on the same table. This is kind of what I do in the diecast world. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, and have a great day. See ya.